you looking for? Paper clipping. Look at it. Mine's well, that could be what that other thing was. Here. What? Trophies and, yeah. Well, we're gonna put that, we gotta put those up on there, and we'll just wait for them to hang. That's it.
I was trying to forget.
I'm playing forgot. It's a good thing you texted me. And I just sat there in front of the TV.
They're telling the Canadians, they're going to get the goddamn shit out there to go. They got to crawl all over this crap in here. I can see why. Well, I need to do them out here, put them someplace else. Well, we're going to put them up on the top shelf. That's already been voted in.
You sure on this?
Okay, let's see if I got the.
It's a good thing you texted me because I forgot.
I was wondering.
Totally forgot it. And yeah, I know we mentioned it. It was just gone.
Isn't there a, whatever you call it in here? Down this side.
And then it's wonderful. Wow. So I'm going to come stay clear, you guys.
Can I plug this in, Amanda? Your power cord? There, please.
Just use the extension cord.
I was afraid. I was just afraid I'd unplug your camera.
No, it's plugged into the computer.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want to plug the camera. Oh.
It even came with a sticker.
Did you see my cane's back there?
Huh?
You said my cane's back there? You realize I walked up there without it. I can walk a little bit without it, but I'm supposed to walk it. Well, God, this thing can't be that old if it's an on brand, right?
I don't think so.
I thought it was ancient, but I think it's not.
You get Angela's message?
No, I didn't.
Of course not.
Well, she didn't get mine evidently either.
We're not gonna do anything till we set them up, then we'll know what we're gonna need. For sure.
Yeah. No, I text, in fact, I
Don't
tried.
text her anymore. The texts do not go through.
Well, I called her too and she didn't get them.
I don't know, you never even showed up on the phone.
Well, sometimes.
Yeah, I did.
Here's the problem. Those phones, Pat, mine does the same thing. You have to turn them off and then turn them back on because they got to reset themselves.
Sometimes.
They told me that the
But
worst
I
thing you
did
can do is
call
leave
her.
your phone on constantly.
And I left
never
her
reset it.
message and then I texted her. I did all three, so.
'Cause my voicemails wouldn't even come through for the longest time.
Yeah, I've had to do mine too.
Are we going to
I
add
mean,
anybody?
don't text us at all, period, because we don't have the power, we're not on, we
Okay.
don't pick it up. Call. We, 99% of the time the call goes through. And I hate them texts anyway, they just screw us, that's all they are.
Will you hand that to Amanda, please? She was top on the list here.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna record this here. Record.
See if it back and rewinds or anything.
How's that trying to do? Can I put it in there?
No, you never did.
Oh, maybe that power strip's off. Well, that'd be my luck.
That might help.
There we go. It was off. Nope. Okay. I can hear recording now. Maybe.
Well, maybe you got it. Maybe you need to turn the tape over. You might be at the end of it.
That's a brand new tape.
I know, but you might.
I had the pause button. No, I'll flip it over and see. Good
See?
job, Mama. Okay. So it says that record bat. I don't know what that must be battery. I don't know.
I know you got it plugged in somewhere.
But this is recording too, right, Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna call the work session for 2022 for what is it? November 12th? 13th, November 13th, thank you. To order. We have roll call. Austin McCracken, Mayor. Ron McNair, President, City Commissioner, and Glenn Murray, and Amanda Shin, all present. There's no public at this time. There's three out of there is any public. Okay, so I got this recording. We'll just go ahead and look over our packets here. So we're ready for this meeting.
Was that most going up on the building?
Go what?
Gas.
With the gas cup, is that what you said? Um,
And we get two separate buildings from Williams Scott.
One's, a lot of it's for just the town stuff, the other one has the one has all the water on it, the water tower, the water wells, and the power plants. The other one has the parks and pool and shed and the street lights on it.
Runs about 1,500 a month.
Give or take. During the summer it's more because of the pool.
Do you know what it is for December, Amanda, with the Christmas lights like in the previous years?
I would have to go back and
I
look.
don't know how much it would be raised, but
I have to go back and look because I don't know that I have last, or I think these are just this year's.
it'd probably be 19, maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna, I mean, it'll go up a little bit, but I'm not sure.
But then again, we gotta remember we had that thing in 2020 that made all of our, like the outage or shortage. So that raised our bills anyways.
Right.
So I don't know that you're really gonna see too much of an increase with that too.
That average pay is probably a pretty good deal for some of these people.
You know what?
That average pay on Atmos gas is a pretty good deal for some of these people, if you can get on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Kansas Gas had that for a long time, then they dropped it.
so this 212 Main Street, my guess is that's the shed.
What, 212?
Yeah, 212 Main, $41. My guess is that's the shed that we have.
The
The
water
maintenance
shed?
shed, the maintenance shed.
Oh, yeah, that's. It is, that is.
And 312 Ash, is that the watershed?
No, because
That's
it's
the
on
blue building?
railroad.
Blue building?
It's on the, railroad, road, I think, and this, or
The
is that?
watershed's separate.
No, that is on,
Well, Ash is up there, so I'm just
Ash's
trying to
this
figure.
direction.
But it's East Ash, so it'd be the other way, the sewer plant maybe?
He said,
yeah.
what is it? What's the
Yeah.
address?
312.
That's
Yeah.
the sewer pump.
Yeah,
down
that
there.
would be
Okay.
sewer.
Well, the water ones I'll say,
Yeah, I saw it said swimming pool shed, city park.
that, yeah, on
street
that
park.
one, the other one's all the water.
Oh, I'm not on that one yet, sorry. So the old power plant, that's by my shed, right?
Right here.
By my shed on the highway? Is that the old power plant?
Yeah.
So what do we have over there? That we're paying $39 for?
What do you, where used to be that?
It's on the water one. Maybe the waste paid it, I don't know.
Well, I just saw it on here and I was like, old power plant, but he just caught my eye. I'm just hoping that's not the sign, like, I thought those were solar lights.
Well, they're plugged, that sign's plugged into the post down there. What's solar is for him to do the laptop up to it.
No, I'm talking about the Welcome to McCracken sign,
Oh,
because that would be by the power plant.
yeah,
I can't
it'll
think
be
of
on
any-
each end.
But I can't think of anything that's gonna be beside that power plant that we would be paying, that's what I'm saying.
What you'd have, if it was the sign, it would have to be the sign. Those are solar, yes.
Because I thought they're solar.
Yeah,
aren't
those
they?
are solar. I'm not 100%
I
sure.
don't believe they're wired in to anything.
Yeah.
Is that all they're charging to send it down there in person?
Send in to McPherson?
That's pretty cheap, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that going around?
What? This?
Yeah, sending it down there. Was it for 2 days? 3 days?
It looks like it's just once, December on 7th, that's what it says.
What's that?
But isn't that her, is that a training that Nicole's going to? The ethics and civility training in McPherson?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Shane's water.
No.
Shane's water's come out of Dodge last time I knew, it was $25.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, some guy does it out of his house, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
in
a
Dodge City,
retired-
or in that.
retired guy. Joe, we got the number from John Zeller.
Yeah, this one was Nicole's training.
I didn't think they were supposed to charge us tax.
For the printer.
Yeah, she probably could send it down. That could have probably been off, but for future, she might want to.
Well, I wonder since you ordered it online,
They still have places when you order online if it says
Tax
it's
exempt?
tax exempt.
I would imagine they do, yeah, I don't know, I've never ordered
Yeah.
online.
Most of them do, I should say. There could be somebody that doesn't, but I would think anything that's sending out commercially would.
Well, so the thing that gets me is this drum, we get 12,000 pages, right? So is this, so the actual unit, is that through a company then?
What?
The printer?
No,
or
it's
through-
just the.
Like we own it?
ink.
Like-
Yeah, we've had the printer.
Yeah, we own it,
Yeah.
but then there's a maintenance agreement with it?
No,
No, okay.
I think though she did.
this is just the ink.
Yeah.
And it replenishes and it automatically sends.
Right.
Because I have it
They
at home too.
I was gonna say they have it on automatic.
So,
Mhm.
So every 3 months you get a.
yeah.
Well,
It
it knows. And then when it sees your whatever, low or what,
Oh,
it
yeah,
automatically
it sends
sends.
through. That's right,
Yep.
yeah. I've never really done that.
So
I've
how would that
seen
work with, I guess I need to look into the libraries. How does the libraries work then as far as with the ink? I guess I'll have to ask Crystal.
She probably just buys
I
it.
think hers is set up very
Or like
similar to
this.
this one when they put that new one in.
But see, ours is, at the library, it's a $50 contract. We pay $50 a month, and then they
Because
come
you
in and
lease
service
yours,
it.
don't you?
Yeah, we lease it, it's a copier. That's what
That's
I'm
what
saying.
I'm
If we're paying $113 for just ink, we could have a maintenance agreement for $50 plus the printer itself, and if it breaks down, and it's a big copier, and you get so many thousand copies. So their ink's paid for. They get like 300, I think it's 350 color copies and like 500 and some black and white per month. And then if they don't use it, it rolls over. So you might be saving money.
Yeah,
If
but
it was-
the reason this one's probably more is because this of the amount. You're talking 300 versus 12,000.
For what the ink is.
Right.
Okay.
So that could, I mean, yes, you could probably have a contract like that, but it would still be more because you're looking at more pages here, and we do a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not really be any cheaper. And that is on a leased one where
Yeah, it's
we
leased.
own it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
But I don't know what the specifics. I have to get a copy of the contract to see what.
how long do you kind of look like this? Do you think maybe this does? Like
How much
3
it
months?
covers
I guess it just depends on
'Cause
what's going on. So like,
I wouldn't want to.
if we have a bunch of
Huh?
stuff to print off, like
So
the
when you
get
water,
the water
yeah,
thing, yeah.
then it's gonna go a
Thousands
lot
probably.
quicker than
But-
it
Exactly.
normal. So it
But
just
I bet
depends.
you our normal goes, well, because we have 125 water bills we print out every month.
Mhm.
And then I bet you this will last
It would
close
last.
to 6 months anyway, maybe
Mm.
more.
I don't know.
So that makes me wonder then how many pages that drum does that they have.
I don't know, because I thought that one was a contract, $50 plus you had to pay also for your ink. I didn't know the ink was included in that.
But you get so many pages of color and so many pages of black and white. So I would imagine.
But
that's
what
your
if you
ink
go
part.
over that amount?
Probably
Like
have to-
you said, they're 300.
Yeah, I
so
think it's like
does it-
300 and something.
So if you go over that, does that amount go up, or is it just stay there until the end of the year and then they recalculate?
See, I thought it rolled over because if you don't use so many
If
pages.
you don't use it, it rolls over, but if
They
you use too many, I
That's
think
what
it
I'm saying.
charges.
Yeah.
charge you.
Okay, because that's what I was
Because
saying.
they charge you like 3
Of course,
cents
you can
a
probably
copy.
set it up on whatever increments.
Yeah, it has like I know when I set mine up, it had a whole list of, different options.
Yeah.
On what you would use at home versus
Right.
business.
Because mine at home's the same way. Sometimes I really use a lot, and sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
go periods of time I just kind of what I call normal use.
Well, and the only thing is, it would be nice to have something like that to where she doesn't have to go to the library to make 100 and some copies, because at 100 and some copies on that printer, it'll take her in quick. Because that's what she had problems with when she tried to print out the book for the water. We finally had to go to the library to print it because we couldn't get it all printed off there. Just food for
But
thought.
you also have to weigh out how many times is that going to happen versus in, say, a year.
I don't know.
Some of that's kind of a,
I know she prints her trifolds down there.
or what?
Her trifolds. The one she folded. Those papers that she folded.
I don't know, with this
But
amount
if this
of,
one dies on us, we're out the printer too.
well, the thing of it is, I guess if we look at it, it's getting wonky. We go
Yeah.
look at one.
Yeah. I don't know. I would just like to look at the library's contract and see what
Yeah, you
What
have
the
to see
details are,
really
you
how
know,
that's written up.
what
and
the
what-
details
Is
are.
that through Western?
No, it's
Okay.
through Tri-Central. Northwestern Printers was more expensive, and Tri-Central had copiers, and they've got it all set up to where now it's on Wi-Fi.
And is
it's all-
that in Hayes too?
Mhm. Lynette actually got it for the library, like she did the legwork, that was when she was.
Found it,
Yeah, she
yeah.
found it, yeah. I thought I had a copy of it somewhere, but I probably do.
Yeah, it probably really is gonna vary on, usage what really, I mean, even if you, look at leasing, you still gotta look at usage
Oh, yeah.
of it. Which one's gonna?
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the agenda. So, let's see here. I think Nicole, had already given Joe a welcome packet for his winning the election. So we should have all that, I believe. It's not everything, but some of the stuff that we had, I believe. Let's see. So the sewer, did you guys get any complaints or anything about the sewer?
I didn't hear anything.
And I'm not even sure how far it went down.
So do they go to every manhole and then blow them out, or they do sections, or what do they do?
They do 4,500 linear feet, and I
They
don't
do
know
it
how,
all once.
they do
Oh,
that
all
in
once, okay.
sections.
They done it all the other day when they were here.
Yeah.
They do it all, it don't make any difference. Last year, they were here till about 1 o'clock in the morning
Yeah, I remember
before
that.
they pulled out.
Yeah, I remember that. Because they did Derek's house.
I don't know how late they were this year.
I don't think they was
I don't know, it don't
past
make any
6
difference.
o'clock, yeah. Because I know somebody asked me if they could watch, and I said, well, I've been around town and I haven't seen them, so.
I talked to them when they was up there by the school. For the school building, they were ticking. They're just 3 guys, that's all it is. What did Lane Scott have, Phillipsburg Tree Service coming down, cutting trees? Is that what they're doing?
Who?
Phillipsburg Tree Service.
Oh, I don't know. Is that what Lane Scott? That's
Oh,
probably
that
them, I
might
don't
be
know.
who they use, I don't know. I
I'm
really
not
don't
sure.
know who they use or what they.
Well, I think it's Phillipsburg. They were,
Because
I
I
seen
know
them in town
sometimes
the other day, but
If it's just small jobs, they do them themselves, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Lane Scott usually hires them to do that.
Because the time I called them.
Everybody for Lane Scott pretty much is subcontracted out.
Lane Scott does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't.
But I
do-
know
But
when
then
they,
Doran,
they don't do it
Doran did all
themselves.
those poles, right?
well, they did when they did
Doran
it
does
on my house.
yearly safety inspections on them
Okay.
and maintenance on the poles. Is what my husband does.
But what about those, when they dug the poles, like when Austin and them were here and they dug the poles down 20 foot deep and had to make the holes and all that?
No, he doesn't put them in.
Okay.
The only thing he does is
Check some days.
sound and bores, or they dig back down so far, check for rot, decay, and apply a chemical and a wrap, and then they bury them back up, and then they number them and send them to Lane Scott, and then Lane Scott's the one, when they're rejects or whatever, then they have to come back out and replace them all.
I saw a few in town, I believe.
Well, they done about 12 of them in town.
Well, yeah, they had quite a few on one, and I think Doran, it's been a while since I think he should have been here a long time ago.
Well, yeah, because
Because I think
I
we
had-
checked them before we
I
got here.
actually got an email on them, probably 6 months ago, 4 months ago, that they was gonna replace 12 poles. And they
They've
just
done a lot
kind
more
of,
than that.
Well, they've got that one behind Roy Jensen's red tagged.
Well, they did a lot, there was some along Railroad Road, they did that
Oh, and
one.
Diana's.
Yeah, and then they did that one up by the watershed, or a couple of them up by the watershed, well, and one on Main Street, 2 on Main Street. And over by Chris's behind there, your mom's, and
They done 4 right there. by-
it was pretty scattered all over, I mean, town.
Okay, so Nicole tells me that the city cell phone, she went in to turn it in, and it still had Jackie's name on the thing, even though we've taken her name off a million times already. They said that they didn't know anything about it, and her name's not off there. So.
I sent her a
she's-
picture of the form I mailed in to him.
Okay.
And then she went today and dropped off the payment to have it shut off, so.
Yeah. So I said, no, I sent a
So-
form in with our name, our names all on it, and so,
But she said that, the payment total would be $350. And she said that, that payment will then take care of everything. We can retain our landline with Golden Bell.
356.22.
Okay, thank you. And then she said, we should really start, since we talked about doing a silent bid, auction thing on the phone, putting it up for bids on our Facebook page and our city website. She said that we should probably start somewhere around 350. Now, I asked Next Tech what those phones would bring for resale. Because they were, at one time, they were $999 or something like that.
yep.
But the problem is they don't make them no more. They've discontinued them. And if you get them and something was to happen, then they would have to go upgrade to the next level, which you think you'd get like a 12 plus or something like that, because they don't make the minis anymore. So she told me if we got somewhere between 350 to 450 up to 600 would be a good amount. So somewhere in there is what she
When
said.
I
to
was
expect
looking
him to
at
get.
used phones for Hunter,
Mhm.
and that was when the 11s was out. And even a used 11 at that time was almost $800. So I told her myself, looking at used phones and where they are, we ended up buying him one that was a 6, and we still paid $250.
Oh, yeah.
So I think you really between 4 and 6 could probably.
Yeah, I mean, she said just do silent auction and then try to, go to 350 starting bid, so. And then see what you can get after that, so. The Christmas lights down there, what all do we, does the
Well,
city need to do
we
anything?
put all of ours, last year when we took those down, we did put everything that worked on that one side in the shed. So everything that's workable should be on that one side in the shed. There may need, but there was 2 strands on the fence line that actually did not work when I took them down. So I know there's 2 strands out of there that didn't, that we may need to look at replacing. But other than that, when we took those down, like I said, I made sure that all those was working, and I put them all on that side where the shelving is in that room.
We're gonna put them all up, and we're gonna test it.
Yeah.
See how much more stuff we need in connectors and length of cable and the timers. I was down there looking at that main one down there. My God, I've never seen that last year. It's a wonder that building didn't burn down.
The main connector for the park?
Yeah. I couldn't believe that when I seen that. How come I didn't see
And it's
that?
the breaker
last
box?
year? Huh?
The breaker box?
No, they got an extension, a household extension cord running out the window up to the plug-in. Household, not outside.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, running out through the window. And I can't believe I didn't see that last year.
maybe that's something to look into
Yeah,
getting fixed.
that's automatic fire.
I ain't going with that.
I think there was plenty of extensions down there we could put that other kind of.
Heavy duty?
outdoor-
No, you ain't got any extensions down there. Not near what you're gonna need. When we set these up, we got quite a few to set up. And they're the larger ones. So they're gonna have to be a number 16 outside.
Okay.
plus the connectors. I've looked at them. So far, Walmart, they're just crap. You don't wanna buy anything from there. They're all 17s and up. I think you gotta have 16s or
A heavier gauge?
outside. Yeah.
So we pay the electric bill, so, I guess it'll be on us to make sure it's
What
secure.
days, what we're gonna buy here, goes, will not be charged to the city of anything, any price whatsoever.
Yeah,
They're all paid out of donated money.
Yeah, we just got a donation from Golden Belt.
for 150.
Using the packet.
Yeah, I read that. On that was.
So, how much did you raise total
On what?
on your Christmas lights?
I have no idea, I don't handle that. Quite a bit. She's got all the paperwork down there. But there was close to, I think it was close to 800 or 900. And they said if we needed more, just say so, they get them.
Yeah.
Hello.
We don't need them. Not now.
All right.
We still got about $38, $38 out of it. The $150 that was put into the park fund by Golden Belt, we still need, we're gonna turn in just enough to cover that 150. And it'll level that one out. And the rest of it she got it all broken down. Has nothing to do with the city. It's all donation. Don't say that. Just help putting it all up, you know.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that the $150 donation that's put in the city fund.
Yeah. Yeah, she ordered that Santa Claus, it was supposed to be $112 and some cents. She's gonna pay that out of that 150. Then we have about 30-some dollars left out of that. She will turn in about that much bills. She'll give you all the receipts. And then she can write a check for it, and that'll close that 150 out. That'll be it, the one we don't want. Coming from the city.
Well, and the only issue with that is that since the 150 had to be donated to the city, technically the city owns $150 with your Christmas lights.
You can have them, we're gonna give them to you.
No,
Why
I
are you
know.
hollering about it?
No, I know, I'm just saying that's just with the
For God's sake,
paperwork.
who gives a shit? Come on,
I know, I'm
we're
not,
putting them up at the park, they're gonna stay with the park.
no, I know they're gonna say.
You want the whole damn thing, we'll give it to you.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying we have to just make sure for the software that everything goes through the Christmas light.
I don't care. She doesn't care. You take your $150 worth of lights and go do whatever you want with it. The rest of them are gonna stay with the park, okay?
No, that's fine, and that's not what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. You're saying, well, the city has to have their $150 worth of lights. You're gonna have $1,000 worth of lights.
No, I'm,
Enough. No more.
Okay, so that would be.
so bank accounts. So these are main accounts.
Was this the picture of where they went, or is this the picture for his, oh, I spent for, this is for Dave's?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I just wasn't sure if that was the sewer. Was that where they cleaned out, or was this where?
Mhm.
So these bank accounts, Amanda, as far as the Farmers Bacon Trust and that,
We
there's
have,
no changes to that, right? They've already been moved like that?
no.
No,
So the
okay.
one has to be okay
So these are
to
proposals?
move from St. John to move that over, the checking over to the checking at
Farmers?
Farmers. The only thing we've done is pull for the savings to be put over at SJN. Because all the savings will be at SJN, all the checking will be at Farmers. Partly and because we have this many checks
Yeah.
we just ordered. And, yeah.
So Dave Liberty's building permit, we tabled that.
When you stopped and talked to the guys on the sewer thing, do they have any input about it?
No, I asked them if they were having any problems, whatever, and they said no, everything's going good.
Okay. Yeah. I just wondered if they said anything.
That's all they said.
Yeah. Well, then it must
I
be
said,
good.
well, if you have problems, let us know.
Sure.
And, I mean, Jack hasn't called, so,
So they must have done well.
well, either that or they're gonna send us a hot-ass letter, won't they?
I'm sure they did okay.
But as far as I know, there was no blockages or anything. Well, we haven't had any.
Yeah. No, I haven't
Which,
had anybody that I thought there was.
And I tell you something, you better stay with this outfit. They come up once a year, and even when that contract's up, you better get another contract. Because there's not enough water flowing through the sewer to keep everything clean
Right.
all the time.
And I think they've been contracted with them for quite some time.
Who?
'Cause I think we've been contracted with them for quite a while, because
As far as I know, it's only, well, I don't know.
John was with them before.
Yeah, I know, John been with them, I think he hooked up with them right away,
Yeah, I think so.
which
So-
is a good they're a good outfit, they really are. And,
Yeah, I don't think there's been any problems with them that I've ever heard anyway.
he saved us a ton of money on that valve.
Exactly.
I know that, because the original cost was over 7,000, we only got a bill for like 1,700.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yes. So, so this
They
building,
use jet water, you know how that works?
Yeah, well, I've watched them when I lived over in the Gray House. They was doing it one time, and I seen them.
It's, when you hit a blockage, that's when it gets messy.
Yeah,
Oh,
kind of a backflow.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've never had that happen down there, but Twyla said they did, I think,
Yeah, Nicole made it.
Nicole said they had a
Yeah.
little experience with them.
Yeah.
I covered all my stuff, and you wouldn't even know they did anything, so I'm like, I don't even know
All
if
I
they came
did-
that far.
All I did was put the toilet
We
seat
covered
down, I
that
didn't
too.
have nothing that was on it, so.
It didn't look like, I was like, okay. But as soon
Nicole-
as it,
Nicole must
The only
just
thing
not
that
have a
told
good
me
part
is
of
I
the
never
sewer,
heard
but she
any
said she Shane saran wrapped it, and it's still blue, but it didn't like go
and it blew the
everywhere.
last time they did it, but it's never done
I'm
anything in my
wondering
house.
if it's something, maybe kind of a, maybe the way in their house. You know, sewer
You're
line might
talking
not be run.
one hell of a lot of pressure when you're using J hose.
Right.
Jet hose. There's a lot of.
But if you don't have enough, if you don't have proper venting,
That'll really
that-
get you in trouble.
yeah,
Your
that
soil
will.
stacks
So
full.
I'm kind of
Maybe I
thinking,
just have excellent venting then and nothing came down it.
because I'm kind of thinking that might be, since that was a bathroom upstairs.
Well, I'm just thinking though, like that area, Joe had problems with his sewer, Nicole's had problems with her sewer, Dee Dee and them have problems with their, like, it's just that general area. But see, I don't have any problems with mine.
Well, it depends on how old the house is. A lot of these older houses don't have the proper ventilation.
Mhm.
Going up to have a smaller one.
The soil stack.
Back in the old days, when we first moved to McCracken down there on that brown house, down there,
Uh-huh.
in 53 or 4, whatever it was. We had no bathroom in the house, that was outside. Mom had a cook stove, and that's how we heated the water that we used. We had the wood over here and the water on this side, and she cooked on top. We had one pump on the sink, and that's where we got our water for the house.
Yeah. My
And that was
grandma's
it.
set up
There was
like
no ventilation or anything like that in that house.
that.
And I run into that with my aunt down there, and she lived on a farm up to the southwest of our center. And we went out there for dinner, and we was doing the dishes after dinner, and she had a pan sitting in her sink. I thought, why the hell would she do that? And she took all that water and threw it out the front door. I said, why are you doing that? Well, she said, it doesn't drain.
Yeah.
I said, oh, really? And I opened up the underneath and I looked and I said, you don't have the air.
Yeah, a vent in
Well, she said, what's that? I said, get your dummy son out here and tell him to put one in.
it. Yeah, and now they make those ventless ones that you can actually hook up in here.
You
Because
know,
we did that in that one bathroom.
in my house, in the bathrooms there, by the bathtub, there's one about that tall, little air vent there.
Yeah.
And the main vent is clear up on the other house.
Right, goes up out at the ceiling. What was you gonna say?
Okay, so this, a building permit, we had tabled. I had some thoughts on this, I don't know. In here where it says the type of work that's gonna be erected, you know, the usage for storage, so partially fenced enclosure, so it's not gonna be a full fence.
From what
Just
I
a
heard, it was
privacy fence,
It was
isn't
a
it?
privacy fence around the whole entire,
Well, that's what
Building.
that's what I thought,
Yeah,
it says
that's
partial enclosure.
Well, but
maybe because it doesn't
see,
actually,
if you said partial enclosure, you're talking
would
about
have to have
there's
a roof
not
on it
a
to be
roof
a
on
full,
it.
yeah.
If it's an enclosure, it would literally be totally
have a roof.
enclosed in. So that's why it has to be partial enclosure. It's just a fence enclosure.
So my question is, and I don't know if this is even possible, but does the city have the right to say what kind of fence it's gonna be?
no.
'Cause
Not
like-
unless we
Like
did.
I know in different places.
There
they
They
is
just
have
tell you,
power
the minute you
fences,
let him
can
put up a
have
fence, you
those.
have no say what's behind it. Once you give him that easement.
You can have a say on what type of fence can be put up.
Right.
You can't put up a wire fence,
Right, to
Yeah,
hide something,
something like that. You gotta have,
a solid.
yeah.
you can't let something that you can't see through.
Just like
You
it
can't
has
put
on
up a
the
wire
other
fence
side.
and then
yeah.
tie
A sheet on it. To
well, I've
cover
seen
it.
them do it.
Oh, I know, I have too, that's why I said it. But He's got poles and stuff on it. He's
Well, I'm
looking
just
for-
wondering if it's gonna be, like a 6 foot, well, it says 8 foot here. No, that's not, that's width.
It says the
6
width
foot.
8
So it's a
foot.
6 foot,
6 foot high,
High.
8 foot section. I'm sure they're 8 foot
100
sections.
yeah, so I'm trying to figure out, is it gonna be like what's on the other side of the school? Is it gonna
Yeah.
match?
Well,
Or,
Yeah, and it will go
There's no-
all the way around,
It's-
up the front and everything.
yeah.
That ain't quite what that says.
I thought it was. I thought that was in the pool set.
yeah, the picture shows, I mean,
Yeah. So once that's it, that's it. He's not even staying there right now.
Well, not now. That's kind of why we tabled it, because we didn't know what the future was.
right. My only thing is we can, if he was to put a fence up, I get we can't say what's behind it, but we actually can, because if there's something back there that anybody knows about, we can get an administrative warrant to go on the property. Like, I learned that in my mayor's class.
Like,
So-
as to, what are you talking about though?
So if somebody tells us that he has a car that's spilling oil all over the ground,
But it would have to be some kind of a hazardous situation.
well, it can be as much as weeds. If you can see them, because it's a sidewalk. If you're walking by the sidewalk and you see the weeds, it's point of view. You have every right to then talk to him and explain to him, we need to look at his property. Just as well as you can have an administrative warrant to where the courthouse will give you a right to it within 24 hours. So it's not like it's just we put the fence up, he's gonna put whatever he wants behind
Quite
it.
honestly.
There's ways that we can have access to his property.
Well, it's, quite honestly, it's probably gonna be just like the fence that he's got on the backside
Yeah, it's
that
just
now is
gonna be
overgrown and things are,
He's gonna clean it up no matter what he does.
no.
It's gonna be a mess. And it's gonna continue to be a mess
Until
all the
it's,
while he's here.
yep, that's never gonna change. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when I spoke with him, he told me that he was working on gonna have Danny help him work on getting the front cleaned up and then getting stuff out of there, and he's planning to liquidate and sell everything.
Well, that's true, but he also told me that he had somebody that is buying it and told him that he could stay there for a while. Because he wouldn't be able to get to it to start doing any of the repairs until in the spring anyway. That was the story I got. And that came from Dave.
How long ago was that?
That was this summer.
So before he broke his hip?
Well, yeah, it was before he broke his hip.
Because from
Probably
my
August.
understanding now, he has home health, which living in Shelley's house, and he's not to access the house at all. Like, they don't want him back in that property at all.
They
So
don't, but he has every right to. It's his.
we has
Home health
every,
can't tell him he can't go in there.
No.
nobody can lose his home health, just like he can lose his home health for
And he
driving.
doesn't care. I know that.
So,
he can move back in or he just
Yeah.
loses.
He's just not right now, yeah.
Well,
And he
all
will,
does-
he will eventually will.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's all because of the water,
Yeah, yeah,
is what it is.
eventually.
Well, I hate to see him in my neighborhood up there.
Well, as long as he's decrepit, he can't do much.
so either way, that's not neither here nor there. The fact of the matter
No.
is, where, as far as how much he's gonna have for fencing, what's gonna happen, we just need to look at his building permit again.
Well, and those are questions he's gonna have to answer.
Yeah.
What
He
type
did.
of, what, yes, but just saying, this, what are you putting, is it going to be?
But does he have, did anyone else answer them is my question. The last building permit that we did they say what it was gonna be constructed of and what material? Because I don't know that we can, if we can't put stipulations on it, like Amanda said, then how do we go about it?
Well, I think the way to do stipulations, you just basically have to have it ordinanced as to what, just like the dog.
Well, he can't do it unless he's giving permission from the easement anyway.
Right, exactly. But just like a dog, a dog at large, I mean, You know, our ordinance says they have to be on the leash, then they have to be on a leash. If we have an ordinance that says enclosed fences have to be within 4 to 6 feet high, they can be, depending on the fence and what's going to be in the fence, and but you'd have to pretty much have a stipulation, so I
Well-
think for that. Now, again, you might ask that to VAP, because him being a zoning person, he might be able to tell us what would be the right areas to go through about seeing what would be the best way to go on that too.
Yeah, because Nicole talked to him, and he said he was going to, I was have to go over, if we were to approve it tonight, it had to go to his desk, so.
Well, he said he would approve it if the city said okay, then only if the city said okay on any of them.
Right, and I just think, and I'm not saying he would make the decision, I'm just saying maybe we should ask like, well, how does La Crosse, how is their stuff set up? How is this, you know, towns that would be closer, even in our size, how do they have that set up? Do they
Yeah,
have
because
any
how
regulations?
does, well, I don't think it's a junkyard now, but Bazine, they had their junkyard there for a while, and then I think that kind of disbanded when the guy passed away. But that was a junkyard, you know, but down here on the road with, where Turley's at. My whole life growing up, there was always a white fence with those slats like that in a chain link, all the way around that. And there was cars, there was weeds, there was all sorts of stuff in that fence. And it was right on Main Street. No one complained because it was behind the fence. They couldn't see what was back there. They didn't care. They just knew there was a fence there. Now, of course, you had your people that would drive down the alleys and try to look in, but you got those white slats, you can't see nothing. But those were there for 25 years, you know? So I think that, I honestly think the reason with the whole school situation is because it's a school. If this was somebody else's property and wasn't a school,
I'll tell
and
you.
it wasn't that big of a problem, I don't feel like it would be that big of a problem.
I'll tell you something.
That's just my opinion.
Nicole can contact the city clerk in Great Bend, and she can tell you what to do to hide that junk, what they can do. Because they have a junkyard right in the middle of Great Bend,
Mhm.
and they've been there for years and years.
But see,
And they're nice people.
All right,
see, he looked into a junkyard, he doesn't qualify. Because it's not a junkyard. It's literally his residence.
What is it? Recycling.
I don't know that it's his recycling, to be honest. I mean, it's no different than the school in Russell, that the lady has 47 cats and lives in this school. It's no different. I mean,
no.
it's the same situation.
I can tell you what to do with the cats.
Well, that's not neither here nor there. I'm just saying as far as,
I done it.
that's what the theory is
On
here.
pickup load.
But yeah,
So-
I don't really know where to go with this because I fully see both sides of the coin. I lived by it for 12 years. And I mean, quite frankly, I just ignored it and went on. I was just my.
Well, you don't
that
have
was
a
my-
choice.
No, well, besides, even if I came and I made a big stink about it, I mean, it's one of those things, it's just more craziness to deal with. And I wasn't gonna do that because to be honest with you, other than a few times when the wind came out of the north, I could have cared less. And that was when he had dog pens in the back too. And so, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know.
Well, that place ought to be such a bad hazard, we ought to be able to close it down. Some way.
We can condemn it and take over the expense of tearing it down.
Whew.
We better have a whole lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I
Is
know,
that
I'm just saying,
EP?
that's our other option.
That's an EPA situation. I already know.
Oh, that's.
And that's $100,000s of dollars.
Now, if you can get a grant, maybe.
I don't think you'd get enough of a grant to really idea what that's gonna take. I mean, maybe I'm just pessimistic, but I don't really think there's gonna be a grant that big.
I was thinking.
It probably is, but the chances of us getting it is
I was thinking about
probably,
doing some
Nil to
swamping.
none, because we're a little podunk town out here.
Skillet wants to look for some property here in McCracken that he can bring his rock in and stack it up during the summer. Because he can't get in and out of his place out north there, I guess. Says he has a hell of a time, getting in and out of there in the wintertime. And he's wanting to buy a lot here. Somewhere, well, it'd have to be somewhere on the east side of town, or the south side of town. Because you can't get the trucks on
Well, the perfect place would be what, Dave owns on the corner down there, because that's right on the truck route. That lot, Neppy Durr's place would be the perfect place.
Yeah.
Because you
I
take the
took him
truck
out,
route in,
I showed him that
dump,
lot, I
truck
showed him
out.
the football field, I showed him a couple other lots on down the road there, you know. I think that one is owned by, Lane. Is it just
Yeah.
south of the dog pens?
Oh, yes, yeah, that's fine.
I
But-
showed him that one.
I think really with Dave's situation right now, I think it might be,
I told him if
either,
we could buy a lot and trade it to him if he'd come in and tear that down for us. He
no,
got the,
I understand, no,
he got the machinery to do it.
I know he does. That would be a real snorter.
that would be
We were looking at
pretty good.
that
That's
one.
a pretty good barter, because that's gonna cost way more than the lot.
Yeah.
I gave him all the damn money, he hauled off all the iron, sold it.
But there's that,
Have that.
the only other lot that I can think of is the lot with the trees beside, right beside Ty's.
Who owns that one, where all them sheep and stuff are all the time? Right there on the corner.
Butch.
That's Butch. Butch owns that.
Yeah,
Who?
Butch.
Gilbert's
Harp.
Gilbert's used to have it, or Stubby used to have it.
Butch Harp has that. That was Tony Harp's, because he had his horses there.
Oh, Tony owned it? I thought that belonged to Connor.
Nope.
No?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me put it
I
on.
Well,
don't
it was Stubby's, 'cause I used to put my horses out there. But he sold it.
Oh, he sold it.
He either sold it or he's let Butch put his
Let
stuff
me
out.
find
I'm
out.
not sure. But anyhow,
Well,
No,
Daryl
it's-
looked at that, and I said, you might be able to buy that. He said, oh, he said, yeah, he said, I could use that lot right there. He said, it'd take me about a day to clean that up.
well, how big a lot does he need?
Huh?
How big a lot does he need?
Well, one to hold about
Yeah, Butch
50,000
Hart,
tons of rock.
Um,
Big pile.
Brian Harp. Butch Harp owns it.
Okay. Well, whose sheep are they, when lambs and stuff?
Butch's.
Well, they used to be, yeah,
Tony's.
Tony used to have those, and I don't.
Okay. I didn't know. who-
Yeah. No,
I
that's,
thought
So-
Connor still owned it. But anyway, I think Lane had some sheep in there one time or another, didn't he?
I don't know that
I
Lane
remember
ever had
Lane
sheep.
always
I
had stuff
think
up
it
here.
was all. And
Sandra
see,
did.
on both sides of that, actually Butch owns the home place, that whole lot. He owns the one across the road, and he owns the one over there. He owns all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
In other words, we ain't gonna get much done with this guy.
so as far as this goes,
I don't know what to tell you on
just needed, well, I'm not making decisions at all, I'm just spitballing ideas here, but
it. Well, no, I'm just saying, I don't know.
as far as, you know, maybe VAP could help us a little bit.
But I do think we should get a little, see what can be placed and what
Get him out
can't.
of my neighborhood. If I catch him outside, I'll try to run over him.
Oh, don't do that.
Why not?
Because then you'll be up for manslaughter.
Exactly, and you're on recording,
That might
so
be
what
worth
you
it.
say.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Remember, I'm recording, these are public meetings.
Yes. So we don't.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that to him. I'd like to do something a lot worse than that, but
Oh,
it
good
ain't
Lord.
never gonna happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was staying over there in that house.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we can discuss more tomorrow. Crystal's gonna bring the memorandum up,
What?
the memorandum for the library, the contract for the library.
Oh, yes.
So then we can go ahead and read over it. So, the country club, we just need to talk about changing the checking account so that the city has no oversight over the country club, since it's technically an association and not city involved.
Right.
It
And
is
they're
the
two
city's.
separate, huh?
It is the city's.
Well, it's a city property.
It's a city property, but we would have, but there's according to the maintenance agreement, that's,
Which is where? Nobody can find it.
the maintenance agreement's in the, city,
So it's not,
in the deposit box.
no, it's not.
They're not in there?
Nope. So we're even wondering if it really is one, because we can't find it.
So does Nicole have a copy of it?
Nope.
Well, she has to have a copy of it because I have a picture on my phone.
No, those are the deeds and everything, is what we got pictures of.
But the
It is
maintenance
not
agreement,
the contract, the contract between them, when they got it, is nowhere to be found.
so the maintenance agreement that we sent Chris Gunn, because we did send Chris Gunn the maintenance agreement. And he said, whereas Chris Petz, the president, signed over all maintenance to the golf association, that they would take care of it until it was no longer a golf association, is a lease by law. Therefore, that is, we have to have a memorandum for the, like we did for the library, that stipulates what it would have to be. And a lease, to enter into a lease, they would have to pay a minimum of $1 a year for however many years, and then the lease could be revisited. So we could set it up like a 50-year lease, but do you have them pay $1 a year to the city? Or do you have them pay $50 for 50 years? Because what happens if the golf association is no more and they paid that $50? So they've got that lease on that land. So the suggestion was $1 a year would be better, or $10 for 10 years, revisit it 10 years,
I'd say
and then
do
go to
that.
$1
I would say do 10
up until
years.
after that.
Because they're not even supposed to be charging for fees down there either.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's like if I give you my property on a lease, you can do whatever you want with it for those amount of time. If you're going to charge fees, that's on you.
Right,
But we don't want to be involved with that,
right.
you know. And the tax ID number, that I think is going to be an issue anyways,
They
because
can't switch that over yet until they have the loan paid off, because they had to use the loan, our EIN number to get the loan for the mower. So until that is paid off, they can't get the EIN number, whatever, until that's paid off.
They can't transfer that over to
No, because
that.
they got an interest rate and whatever set up, and then all of that, it will change because the guy that did all of that no longer works there.
okay, so with that information now, I'm just very bluntly going to say, the golf association is the golf association. The city is the city. If the golf association didn't use the city's, hadn't used the city's EIN number, they wouldn't be in this trouble. We have nothing to do with that. They can figure out their bank situations and handle it on their own. It's not our problem. I mean,
Right.
the issue is, they shouldn't have handed out the EIN number for the city to even get the mower in the beginning, because it shouldn't have been handed out like candy. They should have had that, if it was gonna be a city, I think
That
the problem
EIN
is,
number.
I think the problem is everybody thinks that the golf course is owned by the city, so it's okay. It's not though, because the golf association bought the mower, the golf association has the lease on the land. It's not ours, and they shouldn't have used our EIN number to do anything. They should have had their own,
Well,
which
that-
I was told they do. Is that?
Are they
do
paying a lease? Because they're not, so it is the city's.
No, because the lease agreement's right here. They put on there they would have, they have a contract. So there's contract, and we have this contract that serves as a lease, and then there is the memorandum we would have to draw up that states everything black and white. And if it is the city's, then the city needs to contact Chuck Lamer and ask him what is black and white, because there's no documentation, like Amanda said. where it says that it's gonna go back if it's not a golf course. That's not anywhere in there. Did you
No,
see that
it's
anywhere?
It's nowhere,
So-
nobody can find it.
And I've already been told, well, we don't wanna call Chuck Weimer because we don't wanna take the golf course back. Well, the city owns the golf course. It's not us that, are in anything with bank accounts and that. So we need to figure out how to stay out of it, but still protect ourselves and protect them.
Well, how that EIN number came about was when John was mayor.
Okay?
And that was
Well, if it's city
when,
owned, do you not have to use that EIN number?
if we bought anything that needed tax exempt, that's
Right.
what we used
So
it
they would
for.
have to have used it
Yeah,
anyway.
they have. They've used
Right,
it for years.
I'm just saying, they would have
Yeah,
had to have
it was
used it.
paid things. I mean, they paid for it. It wasn't put on a lease.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
So they would
I
have
mean,
had to use our
So
EIN
they,
number anyway.
yeah, because I can tell you, I used it when we was doing the golf course.
But that's what I'm saying.
And that did come from John. John's the one that says, here, take the tax number and then.
No, you have to, 'cause it's
You
city
guys
owned.
don't need to be paying for taxes.
So then do we pay the taxes at the end of the year?
No, they pay,
Have
they're, no.
Or do we
don't
get
have
a,
any
there's,
tax.
there's nothing that we have to pay at the end of the year?
No,
We
If
don't
I-
pay anything
Do we
for
claim
that,
it?
we just own it.
So do we claim it?
I don't know that.
Like, how does that work? If you don't pay your tax exempt,
Well, that's the whole point of tax exempt.
They pay taxes on it, don't they?
that's what I'm saying.
The only
We have to
thing
go with
that
your
the
income,
golf
right?
course pays taxes on is the lot that's over there.
Across the
with
street.
Yeah, across the street with
No,
the
sheriff's.
shed on it. That's the only, because, and I don't, well, that was because John Zeller owned that and he deeded it over to them.
And so they,
And so that's why it
Yeah,
was deeded over to the
It was
golf.
sheriff
Yeah,
auction or whatever, because we found the thing and they have it now,
Yeah.
but.
so that's how they got that, and they do pay taxes on that little square of ground. The golf course themselves.
so then in that situation, if they did want to pay taxes on that square ground,
That's not ours at all.
no,
So
I'm
that-
saying we
yeah.
would have to do a tax exempt application like they did in the 90s,
Right,
sign up what it's for,
right.
and then do that. But we couldn't do it because it's not nonprofit because they make money by storing the carts.
Well, but that's kind of a technicality too, because what they store the carts for is to pay the electricity for the electric carts. So they don't really, it's still nonprofit. Nonprofits still make profit. It's just that
not-
they're under a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
You don't know. They're not making anything out there.
No, no, they're
they're
not
not
making
making
anything.
nothing
No.
off of it.
Because
They're lucky if they
the
break
fees, the
even.
fees that you pay anyway is going for mower and.
Yeah, I mean, everything is a
gas
volunteer
to mow it,
situation,
yeah.
so it only goes to maintenance.
So then, on a technicality then, if they were to say, your green donation, whereas it's not a fee, it's a donation, is that like a play on words where they can
Well,
not necessarily
but if you
have
do that,
a fee?
People don't have to, when it's a
Yeah, but
donation.
the contract says they're not going to anyways. Wouldn't you rather give somebody an opportunity to say, yeah, we're going to, or no, we're not, if your contract says we can't legally do it at all?
How long, they have always done fees as far
I
as.
know,
I
and that
can
paper
remember.
says.
But it says right there, they would not charge it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm gonna ask Chuck Lamer, can we not, what is the stipulations? This is what we've got. What is the stipulation?
Is
And how does
that
it work?
not charging,
He clearly says
so
they're not
that
gonna charge
he's
for
not
public
getting
use.
something off of the land? Is
Well, it's
that
the
what he's
cities.
talking?
No, it's the cities. The cities wanna do the application and they're the ones that want
Yeah,
it.
it's on the, where they sold it.
Hold on a second, I'm gonna put this to you.
I'm gonna have to read that.
Cause that's what we went in there and took
I thought
pictures.
I had a
Or
copy
We got,
of
we
that.
got copies of the other day when me and Nicole went in there. Cause we were hoping that there was this
Magic.
magic
contract.
agreement contract that was gonna be in there.
Well, I can tell you, because even when I took the stuff over from Twyla, there was a lot of verbal that went on in that. And really in those,
Well, the
I'm gonna
handshake,
call
yeah.
the old days, that's really
The
how they
handshake,
did it.
but-
I mean, it just
Yeah,
was.
you can't-
It's, today, it's,
Well, Twyla's
garbage has created us not to be able to do that.
Twyla's the one that signed the contract.
Right.
So, I mean, and Chris Petz, it's literally right there. So
How did Chris Pets?
he was the president. It was probably when he lived in my mom and dad's house.
Hmm,
When him and Cindy lived in my mom and dad's.
okay.
Um,
Yeah, I think we ought to just get it wherever it's written up that they run their
Well,
own
I just feel
business
like,
and be
I just
done
feel
with
like a
it.
memorandum.
How much longer do we know how much longer they have on their lease?
There's no use, is there?
The
You
lease is,
said on the
the lease-
mower.
oh, on the mower.
I don't remember, I
I
don't
was
know.
thinking that was on a 4-year, but I'm not sure.
You mean to tell me that when they bought that mower, they had?
Because they bought the mower right there at the end when I was there, but I didn't remember.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
because
they
there were lots of
financed
people
it.
down there not paying their fees. They were just golfing. So
Well,
they-
by law, they're not breaking any rules.
No,
Yeah, I
but
guess
I'm
not.
just saying,
Yeah,
I mean, I see your point, but I'm, you
yeah.
know, not knowing what we know now, man, they're not breaking any rules.
no, they're not breaking any rules, but,
They're not helping the situation either.
no.
Well, let's put it this way, if you want to keep it up.
So it says,
You
So
gotta have
don't
equipment.
complain when you go out there and
Yeah.
it's not mowed and you
Yeah.
can't see, find your balls 2 feet in front of you. That's not our problem.
Because it's kind of a, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't situation.
so it says, how often does this occur? All summer. Then it says, is this property used for any purpose other than the one given above? No, because it says, well, how's this property used? It says golf course, that's all it says. Then it says, is the property used by individual, group, organization in addition to the listed above? No. So that right there throws your organization out. Because the organization, what this is for, was for the city. It wasn't for the golf course association. Then it says here,
Well, actually, I think they marked that wrong because
So-
it was actually given for the golf course.
So
Well, I know.
basically, if it's given to the city, but the city couldn't charge money, but if they were paying a lease, they can charge because it's not us asking for the money, right?
that's what I thought. And then it says here, who uses the property for the described purpose? McCracken citizens. Is the property used by an individual, group, organization? No. Okay. Are there any fees charged for services this organization provides? No. And then it states, what date was this property first used for this purpose? Prior to 1965. Then in detail it says, so the state statute that they have here for assisting and identifying the correct exemption. And then it says, this golf course was deeded to the city and we continue, and will continue to let the local people use it for no charges. That's specifically in handwriting in their contract. Then it says,
But there is no, like, the contract must, the
Like,
verbal one
the
where it
applic-
said if you didn't, whatever is gonna get turned back to farmland or whatever, we cannot find one of those.
no, because it just says that he deeds it over for a sum of $1.
Mm-hmm.
And then it tells what they deed over. And it goes from an irrevocable living trust.
I'm wondering if
Sorry,
Lakers have a copy
irrevocable,
of it,
irrevocable.
or if they do have one. Because his statement was made not too long ago, if that's over some, and I can't remember now what the situation was, but he says, well, if that's the case, I'll just bring the tractor in and plow it up.
So, yeah.
So I don't know.
So I don't know if it was a verbal thing or if there was an actual written one or whatever,
Yeah,
but
and
you know,
that's why I'm
then-
saying maybe.
the verbal won't hold up, so.
No, verbal one.
But then there's one in here, isn't it? Oh, she sent it to me.
Because, see, I was,
The ones that don't want to load. Okay, so this is, on the 16th of March of 1991, the above captioned matter comes for consideration and decision by the Board of Tax Appeals, State of Kansas. So the subject matter is described above. So the board finds the located upon the above described property is a golf course. The board further finds that the said property should be exempt from taxation under provisions Article 11, Section 1 of the state constitution. Let's see. It is therefore by the Board of Tax Appeals of the state of Kansas consider and ordain that the taxes levied on the described property for the period beginning of September 12, 1990 through December 1990, together with any interest and penalties charged thereon, and abated that the said property is exempt from taxation as long as it is owned by the applicant herein and used exclusively for municipality purposes.
That's the clause right there.
So
As long
then it
as it's
says,
used.
if
for-
if a party to appeal this feels
So as long as it's used for a golf course.
aggravated by this decision, they may file a written request for a rehearing with the board. The written request for rehearing shall set forth specifically in the adequate detail the particular specific respects in which the improper or unfair, a copy of the request, together with all documents submitted thereon, shall be mailed to the opposing party at the same time the request is mailed to the board. Failure to notify the opposing party shall render any consequences voidable. The written request must be received to the board within 15 days of clarification of this order. So that was all signed. And then it says, the board has not received a written request for the rehearing. This order will become final, from which no further appeal is available.
That's probably what they're talking about there, that one clause in there. That
That
one
one
statement.
clause that it has to stay
Well,
as
if
a
you do,
golf
just
course,
like
or
this
if
says right
you
here.
try to do anything else with it, you're too bad, it's ours again.
Yeah. I would say that's how that's,
Yeah.
where they came with that.
Mm-hmm.
So
So there
there-
wasn't an actual contract out there,
But
it's just the clause in the
it's
bottom of the.
Yeah. It's an additive.
Well, it's in the application for exemption from taxation.
Yeah.
So it's certified by the state.
Yep, so there is no actual,
Which would still mean they can't charge fees as long as it's used for municipal purposes and they're charging nobody at no cost, right?
so, but if they're elite,
Yeah, if they're
it's
leasing.
not city ran.
Okay, let me put it this way.
So
We
that-
can either leave that alone and let them do that, or we're gonna have to pick up the maintenance fees on it.
So no, so is there not a clause where you say, okay, write up that lease, do that lease, whatever, it's still usually being used for the golf course, but
It's
it's
still
using
under
it as an association.
It's still under city umbrella, but
You're leasing it.
you're
it's
leasing
your
it
land.
for them.
And we're still,
Yeah.
as a city, we're still using it as a golf course, but somebody else is running it, so they should be able to charge the fees.
The
as
country
needed.
club themselves is running.
Right. That, I would think that.
I would think that that would make sense.
I would think so too, because we got the okay from, like, there's state statutes that allow us, if we own it, to collect the green fees, to put back into the golf course. But if we're not running it, wouldn't they be able to
We don't
collect
need it.
those green fees to put it back into the golf course?
Yeah, they would.
And they are doing it, no one's pocketing,
No,
like, I'm not getting paid to go out and mow their golf course.
no, nobody
So
gets paid to do anything.
everyone's a volunteer circumstance.
And-
That's why it's status under non.
Even when they hold the tournaments go back and pay for the food that was purchased for the
Right.
meal. It goes back to the winnings of the whatever. They do collect a portion of it so that they can
Well,
have another.
I'll tell you when, now
And
when, I
they
don't
make
know
it.
how the guys are handling that part. What we did when Roger and I had it, we had 20 golfers for this tournament. We took $5 times 20. Off of that, that was for gas, to mow that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then all the rest of that money was used toward winnings and whatever
Yeah.
else. So that's how we have, now I don't know if they still are doing it exactly that way or not, but neither here nor there, but it's,
They're
that
not
was
making
what
a
it
huge
was.
profit at all.
Yeah,
Not at all.
nobody's gonna make a killing off of it.
Kind of like the pool.
So I think basically just, memorandum that says, y'all are.
So we just
take care of
needed
this,
to
y'all are
do
to-
a lease. that's
Just something to
still
make
safe
black
for-
and white.
Yeah.
Because they technically have golf course, we just gotta say what.
Yeah. It's they're running it.
Yeah, we don't.
We
don't want
technically
anything
have
to
a
do
golf
with it,
course
you know?
and they're running it.
We don't want anything to do with it until it comes down to what their agreement says, that if the golf course association no longer exists, it goes back to the city. That's basically all it says. in the
Exactly,
lease.
yeah. Correct.
Which now I can't find that piece of paper that Nicole sent me. It's some of the ones that probably aren't loading. I don't know why they're not loading, it's weird. Oh, here it is, right here. Dear Mayor Herdman, enclosed, please find an agreement regarding the maintenance of the McCracken Golf Course. Sincerely, Twyla Higgins, Treasurer. Okay, and then, so I can click on this other one. Okay, you work. Okay. It says, agreement. The McCracken Country Club agrees to maintain the McCracken Golf Course beginning on the date of said golf course property was donated to the city of McCracken. It is understood that the McCracken Country Club will continue to maintain the course in good condition without expense to the city of McCracken for as long as the McCracken Country Club is in existence. And he said that when they sent that to Chris Gunn, he said that's where their lease part comes in. Now we need a
So
memorandum.
we just need a lease. then.
Yeah, now we need a stipulation of, yeah, they have it, but to get into that lease part of it, like the full lease part of it, this is the contract part.
Right.
So the lease part of it, he said, that's where we'd have to say, okay, for $1 a year for
Right.
this is your contribution to the city.
Yeah, and I would say that 10-year would be a good block. It's long enough, but, yeah.
So, and then, let's see what else is on here. Okay, so the crops for the cemetery, around this time, they sold the crops for the cemetery. Do we know kind of where wheat's at or what we've got or storage? Has anybody received a bill or anything?
We have to tell them when we want to sell out.
Yeah, but do they send you like a
They
statement
don't
that tells
send
you
us-
what you've got?
No,
Don't we get that from John Urban?
nope, never have. But they keep it, I can tell you, I can find out. I'll check with, Michael.
Michael? Well, I just feel like they should send us some sort of a statement that says, hey, you've got this much stuff in storage, these are your storage fees, whatever.
Well, you have certain amount of period of time to be, before you have any storage fees.
Okay.
The only reason we got a storage fee on the wheat was because we all had a turnover, didn't realize that that was there, so there was 1 month of storage fees. And this goes back, again, Bill was always on the council, and he just automatically went ahead and took care of it. To be honest, that's how comes it got like that. So,
You want to take care of that, you tell them to sell it as it crosses the scale.
As the cost of the scale?
As it crosses the scale.
Process.
Oh, it's crosses.
Well, and,
That gets rid of all this bullshit.
but
Money
actually,
on,
yeah,
The storage fees and all that?
no, there's
Well-
nothing on it. You get a check for it, that's it. A check for the present day. If it's before 1 o'clock, if it's after 1 o'clock, you get the price for the next morning.
Okay.
and again, Bill just waited till it was the best price and then he sold it for us.
Well, that's what I figure everybody does. I mean, that would be the
Yeah.
smart thing, but I don't know anything about wheat, so I'm just asking what the wheat
Well,
is and what
I can
the
tell you
wheat's
this.
done.
It's
I don't
better-
know.
It'll be the
Those-
Milo. It'll be Milo now. So let me check with Michael though and see on that and,
The storage fee will be on it if you leave it in there for 30 days. You're gonna have it's either a nickel or 6 cents a bushel will be on that
I
contract.
think it was $25 that last one.
I have no idea, I don't know how much miles there was on it.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I'm
It ain't
wondering.
gonna be
like-
that much,
No.
but if you sell it when it crosses the scale, you eliminate that, you eliminate everything else. You get a check for it, it's done.
So it doesn't pay that, it pays that storage fee then?
there is
You
no.
don't
Oh,
There
there
is
is no
storage
storage fee then.
Okay, okay.
Because
You
it
don't
never
have
got,
anything. You
it's
don't-
not being stored for us, it's being stored within there to sold it.
Oh,
Whenever and like you said, there's a time limit on it.
yeah, before you start incurring charges.
Mhm.
When I don't know when he cut it or when he put it in there.
Well, they
That's what I'm wondering,
probably-
like who,
They have it dated.
why don't we get a statement that says what we've got? Aunt Kate
You
used to
will.
get Collingwood grain statements all the time.
We will when,
Or is that something
Oh.
John Irvin does because he's the one that got it? Do
No.
we send it to him?
well, John knows what it is and they know, they divide it up, so, I mean, I'm not sure how they have that part set up at the elevator. That's however they got it set up with the elevator.
Okay. So it might just be as simple as asking them,
Just, yeah,
anytime we bring something in, can we just get a statement so we know what we've got? Because none of us are farm savvy.
Well, they won't do that on everything that comes in. When the harvest is over with, there's no more coming in. Then you can go in and ask them, Hayes will do the contract, they'll do the work to bring it back in, whatever the contract reads, 1/3 or whatever. I don't know how the contract is.
yeah,
I don't have any idea. how it's
I
set
just
up.
know that we have 80 acres or something like that.
Whatever it is, they can tell you. Hayes, Wanda at Hayes can tell you.
And I'm sure that when John's trucks come in, they'll say, this was cut off of the city
They don't say city, it's, they'll tell you it's cut off this portion of this land right here. It goes in like, it'll be coming, John Irvin McCracken, that's the way it'll come in. And that's the way it'll be listed in Hayes. Once it's in, and they do all the sales tickets, they automatically go to Hayes that day. So they keep track of all that now.
I'm sending him.
Except on weekends, they don't work weekends.
Yeah, they don't work weekends.
Oh my God, did that ever hit a wall?
I know. I'm sending Michael an email and asking him to check on it for us and let me know what we have,
Yeah, they can do that.
so he can look that up for us
Well,
Monday.
Michael should be able to do that through Hayes.
Yeah, he will, because Bill, I know when I asked him on the wheat last time, he says, let me give him a call and I'll
Yeah.
let you know.
He
So-
can do that.
That brings me to another question. So Crossroads Cemetery, so on the cemetery, we'd approved to fix the headstones. There was, Chris Brooks approached me and told me that there was a, Keithley Monument. Said they thought they could do it for $800. They wanted to do it a while back, but we hadn't got approved, and we were or not approved, we hadn't approved that exact amount.
What are
And we had a lot going on, so.
The
The headstones that we approved a long time ago to get fixed,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
but they were gonna be like 3,000 over here with Schneider, but Keepley said, I guess he came out and looked at them already, like, cause she was talking to him, and he said, well, I'm going by there, I'll swing by and look, so I don't know if he looked at all of them or what, but he said around 800. So I was going to touch base with him and see if that's even
Oh, yeah.
still in the ballpark figure, cause that's kind of a drop from 3,000.
yeah, and I'm wondering if he really knew.
That's
caught
what
all
Chris
of
told
them.
me. She told me this is the night of the movie, so.
Yeah, check on it.
Yeah, I understand, it doesn't take much to fix them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, some of them is just a matter of setting them back up.
Yeah, and gluing them. So then that also brings me to kind of where we're at with those city mowers we talked about, getting those robot mower things, kind of seeing where that's at. So we need to look kind of in more into that, I think, a little bit. And with the cemetery, there's a program that Nicole looked at with that software we got, that clerk's desk thing. They have a program on there for, I believe, and don't quote me, but she told me that it was around $250 to $400, something like that, for this program. And it would put our cemetery online, which is, we don't have one anymore. And just for, I don't know how you would do that as far as the software, because we approved her to get the software, and she had a $10,000 limit, and she's under budget on it. So I don't know how that works. I would imagine that we would need to talk to her, discuss it, and then see how, if we were interested in it, then that amount would be for that software.
I can tell
to
you
research.
that some of our graves out there are online because it's called Find a Grave.
Yeah, but that's if you put them on.
Yes,
I'm talking
I know.
about, this would be more for
So-
selling.
Right.
And this would be our online books, which reminds me, I'm going to check with Michael again. And I'm gonna let him know, now that Bill's a little bit better, we need to get all of that documentation out of the safe and here. So, he's more than welcome to come here if he wants to do anything. I did talk to Michael about him either stepping down or passing on or whatever. It was up to them. No, Bill Greenway, because he's not in good health. And so he's the one with the cemetery, and it's a situation where he's the one with the cemetery. So who knows it, other than that. So it's kind of like he needs to pass the torch. And if he wants to continue to do it and is healthy enough to do it, great. Well, we'd love to have him do it. But we just need to maintain the records here for the cemetery and make sure that they're out of the safe, because they were in the fire safe. So, I'll work with him on that and see what we can get. But any
Two
thoughts?
sets. I think the library has one and he has one.
Probably. He moved all of them out and put them in a fire safe because he didn't want them to burn down or have an issue. So,
The library has them.
No,
Mm-mm.
no, they don't have those ones.
They don't
These are the
have-
old
They did used
books
to
and
have a
scribes.
software, but that got taken out and just banned. So I don't know what happened to it.
Well, that software that they have is for, I asked about it, because Crystal showed me that. So it's a software that they have that that guy up in California made for the alumni to wherever the grave is. But it doesn't go in and purchase graves, it doesn't, you can't
No,
do
not anything like that.
Yeah, no,
Just
and it,
kind
and
of
it-
records.
Yes, and it doesn't really keep, it's not like the actual cemetery software, it's a little bit different. But it's an additional, to that help desk thing, so I just wanted to throw it out there and get some food for thought. Because,
This sounds like lacrosse.
that's a drop in the
Yeah,
bucket
but
for,
David Jeffries run the cemetery over there. Till he died.
Well, that's the same way every little town around here
He was
is.
82 or 3
Because I
years
deal
old
with
when he
them all
died,
when
and
they,
nobody knew
And
anything
then-
about the cemetery.
nope.
yeah. Well, if you don't pass the torch, nobody does. So.
I'll tell
then-
Bill not to die for a while.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, well, you
So-
better not, because I'm not done with that.
He's about to come out.
So there's gonna be
Yeah, he's doing much
there's
better.
gonna
He's
be a,
He's
we
gaining
need,
on.
we need to talk about, amending the budgets for 2022 and 2023.
Yep, we need to do that.
And I talked to Nicole, she said that if we could get notices and get the amendment of the budget kind of wrapped up by December 1st. She's kind of
What are you
pushing.
gonna miss?
We gotta add in the money that we didn't realize we had, which, Amanda, can you call over to the courthouse tomorrow and let them know that we wanna take all of our money out of that? And then whatever's left at the end of the year, usually she just gives back to us anyways, so just ask for another disbursement, for the last disbursement. She said we could get one, I think, in October and November, and we didn't get one in October, so.
Yeah, it's not gonna be of any significance, but yeah.
I just thought that when we get our final numbers to amend the budget, if we had that part out of there, we can add that to our amount.
I think last year, the last part we got was 5,000.
Okay. Well, we'll get
In
another one in
December.
December,
Just
right?
At the
It
end
just
of
depends
December,
on
yeah.
who's paid the taxes.
Right,
I mean,
and what
they're-
was behind and, yeah, those are just what they call the cleanup ones, you know,
So
you know.
that would be
We just signed that second deposit that tomorrow's for the water bill for the community building here.
Sure.
Fine, fine.
You're welcome.
so the next thing was, so like Nicole went to this class. We talked about this a while back. Amanda goes back and forth to lacrosse. We've all run to go get things. We talked to Chris quite a while ago, and he said that we just needed to come up with some sort of a discussion, figure out what we need to do. But there has to be some sort of a reimbursement for these people that are running their gas in their cars. And as far as going back and forth, because I know that we are traveling, Nicole is traveling to Hayes this summer quite a while, and she's going to this thing up here, and we're an employee, or she's an employee. As far as going to her trainings and that, there's really no reason why we couldn't pay her mileage to go up to the training and come back.
We're supposed to.
We don't. There's no ordinance for it, so we don't have city officials aren't paid.
Well, she's not a city official, though.
She
Yeah,
is.
she is, but she is not. I mean, she's not a voting city. So, yes, we should.
But she's an officer.
Right, but any of us that take our cars or vehicles should be
If you don't
reimbursed.
If you don't have an ordinance, you can't do it, though, is my thing.
You put in an ordinance for that. We do not have a city car.
No.
So you get paid, if you take your personal car, it's 58 cents a month.
Right
That's
now,
what
it's
you're being paid.
62.5 I get.
Huh?
The federal went up to 62.5.
Did it? Okay,
Yeah.
62.5.
So, because I get paid mileage in mine, and I mean, if she's,
What, does the church pay you mileage?
yep,
Okay. And they're nonprofit, right?
right?
So why, why wouldn't they pay, the only reason they don't pay is because there's no ordinance for that. There never has been. I'm gonna.
We don't have anything
The
technically that I'm
hitch to
aware of
that is-
either. It's just, they just.
If they're running other errands while they're taking that over there, how are you gonna justify paying that 62 cents?
I'm
Well, how do you
very,
justify sending your water sample with them if they're running extra errands and you don't, and they shouldn't have to go pick your water sample up, take it to La Crosse, because they're running to the grocery store. They might say, I'd run to the grocery store, I don't have time to take your water sample. So I would justify it by the same way everyone else does. Start your mileage when you leave, put your mileage when you get there. Put your mileage when you get there, and mileage when you get back. We know that there's 17 miles to La Crosse.
Depends on which direction you go.
yeah, 16.
But I'm saying,
17 one, 17 the other.
I'm saying I guess it's an honor system.
Right.
You're either gonna be honored and do it right or you're not.
You can
Well-
either do that or if you, okay, if it's part of Nicole's job to do that, then you don't pay her. If it's not part of the job, then you have to pay her 62.5 cents up and back. Be 34 miles. Be $20-some, whatever it is. She has to be paid.
Okay? So it's not part
But
of
see,
our
I don't
job then?
look at it as a big deal because when I took the water samples over, I was doing other stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't just driving up, maybe once or twice, I literally drove over.
I
and
only drop
dropped off.
deposits off if I'm over there. I'm not making a special trip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well,
But
you're-
would you
you're
make a
worth
special
it.
trip if you were being paid?
Why would you then,
No, because it's not.
If it has to be done and
It
done.
has to
and
be
takes
done,
a
I
special
wanna do
trip,
it.
then it should
Well,
be
yeah.
paid.
But if it's
emergency.
not in it, just because it's a deposit for the water company, no, it's gonna wait till Monday when I go there, because
exactly, there's
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
for it. To me, other than a have-to trip, I can tell you 99.9 trips I take over there are gonna be for 5 other things or 2 other things.
yeah, usually I'm not going anywhere unless I have,
Yeah.
I have to go.
I don't.
Then when we go to Hayes, we have to go through the cross.
Exactly.
So-
On that road up there.
Okay, so my question is then,
But any
how do
training.
you justify, but you can't because you don't have a clause. You don't have an ordinance. We can't pay her a dime for going to her training. All that gas she's putting in her car is all on her.
Right.
And she makes, what is it, $250 as clerk?
Well, what I was asking them,
Plus the
why
water
have they paid
secretary.
him in the past?
But is she going there for the water secretary? No, she's just going for the clerk, right? So she's only making $250.
No, what I'm asking, why have we been paying them in the past?
We haven't. This council has
No,
not.
I'm not talking about us pertaining per se, but I know different ones have, at times, have been paid for going places.
Okay, all I can say is to legally do it, we have to have an ordinance.
Well, then put an ordinance in.
Well, no, I just want
Well, we don't
thoughts.
even have job descriptions,
Well, no.
so, I can't say it's part of the.
To me.
We have a job description. Chris sent us the job descriptions.
The resolutions, but not the job description.
No, we had to have the job descriptions for the city clerk and the city treasurer, and he sent them to us, and then we had to
Never
receive
seen
them.
If we did.
Okay, so,
That was- we got the
let's
resolutions.
put it this way. I have no problem with an ordinance, I guess, if this is what we gotta do, to say if we go for any type of training, but now, can you do that with us?
Yeah, it would be a blanket, it would be
Okay,
everybody.
so-
It would be any travel for the city at 50, whatever the federal mileage rate is, any travel for the city.
Okay, so I would say any training, any classes, anything in extended, don't wanna say learning or extended,
Education.
education for the jobs.
Continuing education.
But as far as just running an errand for the city, I think that could get misused.
Yeah,
I think that could get out of hand.
yeah, because I'm not gonna do it, I'm not.
Well, it's just like, technically, you could say, I went to the bank, and if you wanted to, I'm just gonna call kind of cheating the system, you can go ahead and put that day's mileage in, because you went to work.
Mhm.
And I'm just thinking, stuff like that could be misused.
Well, yeah, you can put
But
stipulations on it.
anything that I think that would be in continuing education or anything like that, or in an emergency situation, and maybe there's some way to word that, but not just for, I probably wouldn't do that.
Okay,
just
I'll tell you how the county does it.
Okay,
And Angela done that a lot. They would pay her mileage. Like, if they had to have something from Walmart, the weed department. If she went specifically there and back,
she got paid.
she got paid mileage. She could go over there, and if she shopped, was gonna shop anyway, and bought some stuff for the weed department, which she could do,
Yeah.
and she'd done it a lot, then she was not paid.
Right.
Was she clocked in
Sure,
the whole time?
but not when she's over here.
She should have been though, she's doing errands.
No.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
no,
yes,
no,
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 we can't
no,
do it that way.
You
How-
don't get
how do
paid.
you
You don't get paid for that.
Well, you should though.
No, you
No.
don't.
It's your own time. You don't have to
No,
do it.
you're
then. It's
on
not
your
your
own
job
time, you're
requirement.
just
Well,
doing it
stuff
for
like-
the county. That's
Stuff
all you
like
do.
that usually
As
is
a
after
favor.
hours.
Well, I
usually.
understand, but I'm saying though, it's your own time.
Yeah, they usually,
There's no
you either get, if
You're
you
just
would-
making it too damn
if
complicated.
you'd wanted
You
to do
don't
it
get
that way,
paid
you'd
for it.
either have to do an hourly or you'd have to do a mileage. You'd have to decide which one you're gonna go.
Right.
You can't leave both of them
If
off.
you're on the clock and you do it, you don't get paid mileage, which,
Right.
Yeah, because you're doing your job.
That's why I was asking if you're on the clock.
But, yes, but if you're not on the clock.
If you're not on the
So
clock, and you
technically,
go
if
there
I'm running, if
specifically
I'm
for
running
that,
through the
they
week and
pay
I'm
you
going to the
mileage.
bank, I'm not gonna get
If you
paid for it,
go
I'm on
there
the
just
clock.
to shop and
Right.
buy something for them, you don't get paid.
Right.
That's the way it works.
So, yeah, it would have to be above and beyond the job.
Yes.
I mean, it'd have to be noted above and beyond the hours of the job. And how do we kind of,
But how do you justify?
how do we
the
justify
hours?
that one?
You're
Because we
just
don't pay
complicating it.
hourly.
That's
No,
all you're
I'm just
doing.
trying to figure out the gas is this price a gallon, and we never had to deal with this, but we ran 4 times over to get stuff for the pool, and nobody was reimbursed for any of that. And like Nicole had to stop her middle of her day to go and do things. So how do you justify giving somebody $250 a month as a clerk?
If she's doing it for the city, and it's city business, and that's all she's doing, then she should get paid for it.
But if she
Well,
did
that's what she
anything
did, but
else,
she didn't do
then no.
anything. She didn't get paid for anything is what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because there's no
And
ordinance.
I'm telling you to pay her when she does that now. Put your ordinance
I
in
know.
so she can get paid.
Why do we have to actually put that in an ordinance? Why can't we just vote on that too, that is
You have to
a,
vote to put it in an ordinance that it's paid, that the city officials and city employees are paid. Like Shane. it
You
would
have
fall
to
under
make
him
that
too.
for everybody, but not just,
yeah.
they get paid.
Well, get
Okay,
same
us,
thing- it's the same thing if-
The workers in here in the election committee, they got paid to go over there and have their hour and a half class.
Yeah,
They got, whatever you said,
Yeah.
62 and a half cents a mile, whatever. Okay, only one person got that. The one that drove the car. The other 3 rode with her, or 2, whatever. They didn't get paid mileage.
right.
well, yeah, 'cause it's wear and tear on your vehicle.
Huh?
I said because it's wear and tear on your vehicle.
Well, sure it is.
Yep. No, I'm not opposed to it.
No.
For something like training or things like that, but like I said, I think it's, we're just, if you're doing other stuff, I just don't think it's.
Put your mileage,
Well,
You was
yeah.
gonna go
mileage
anyway.
rate in there, and when they turn the bill in and look at it, if it looks okay, pay it. If it doesn't look okay,
Well, yeah, it
say,
has
wait
to
a
be,
minute.
well, yeah, it has to be approved anyways.
Right,
So I mean, it's not like you're gonna fluff the mileage if we know you
I'm just
haven't.
saying, every little thing is gonna be turned in, every, every.
Yeah, if
and
you
it's
don't
gonna
kind of
get out of hand.
specify, that's why I would say for continuing education classes, and they're always gonna be away from
But
here.
if you're gonna
Other than if
nitpick
they're
around
Zoom.
on that crap, you
I'm
don't belong
I'm
here.
not
Yeah.
nitpicking anything, I'm just trying to compensate them for their time.
You can do that. Put the ordinance in, pay them. Bingo, it's over with. Okay?
Yeah, I just
Why,
had it.
why go through all this bullshit when you can do it just bing, bing, bing?
Continuing ed.
Okay, so the next thing I have on here is, extending the living requirements. I don't know if we can do this.
What?
Nicole asked me something about extending the living requirements for commissioners, like moving it to where it's like Hampton Fairview, but I don't know how you would do that. Wouldn't it be a city election in a city, in the city? Like, I don't know that you can extend it, because our pool of people is smaller, so,
Make the terms longer? you mean?
no, extend our limits to who can be on commissioner, as far as how far out they can go.
Oh,
Like 2
'cause
miles
we
out
did
of
that
town, or
for
a mile
the
out of
library
town, or-
that
yeah, like
time.
that.
Oh, you wanna be careful with that.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I thought. I'm just bringing it up to let you know.
I would,
If
'cause
you wanna see a Nittany butler over there, you
Well,
just get right
We can't
after
talk
it.
with that, so,
I think that might be, not the best.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think there's enough people.
I
to-
understand the point, I do, I get it, but I don't think at this point.
You've
in
already
time-
got a clause that you can use to do that,
Mhm.
but you damn sure don't wanna use it.
Well, you can use home rule. Is that what the
Yes.
clause is? Well, it's still, I think, have to be voted on, but, so that brings me to 5-person. What do you think about a 5-person commission?
Yes, you need, the city needs one. You gotta have one. You don't have to put 2 more commissioners on. You need to do it, and you need to do it pretty soon. Because if not, you got the dictator, it's right there. Your dictatorship is there. You
And
got a
then we need
2-man,
to go to, back
you got a
to
2-person council.
4 and a mayor,
One that says yes.
4 and a mayor?
so that the mayor doesn't vote and has the tiebreaker. That's how you need to go back to.
That's what you need.
Okay.
That's what's needed. Basically, it's the mayor council form of government, but it's,
But on a
built
simpler
under
basis.
this one.
Okay, so my question is, what happens if our ordinance gets challenged?
So,
Who's gonna
let's
challenge
challenge it. I mean, and if
It's a charter,
they,
it's a charter ordinance. It would
because
have to
it's
go
a
in
charter
there.
ordinance, and if it gets challenged and it gets overthrown, it gets overthrown. You know what? You know what the people want.
How much?
I look at
how's
it this way.
How
If
can we
the-
overturn it?
If the
60
people
days.
go with a
60 days.
petition, because they have
To
to
do
do a
what?
petition.
You have to do a petition just like we did for 15-02.
Okay,
For 6.
So, but if they do it, to me, Austin, that's a vote. Majority
if
of
they
your
do
people
it-
don't wanna do it.
they want,
they
they
wanna
want a
do-
dictatorial commission, give it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at all aspects, because
Yeah, no, it,
the consensus I got from that meeting we had, or the town hall meeting, the consensus I got was, if this vote was not to pass, they were interested in still having 5 people,
Yeah, I think
one
so.
way or another.
I kinda think the
I'm gonna tell
majority
you
of them.
something, that was this far over their head. There ain't a damn one of them sitting there even understood what they were talking about.
But after the thing, Twyla came up and asked me a couple questions, and I was able to explain it to her, and she was fine. So, I think they got it, and I
Do
just,
you know who told her to ask questions? You know they wrote the questions out for her?
Mhm.
Doug.
Okay.
She had no clue, no idea.
But I do think that they would be,
And I mean, she's my neighbor, I love her to death and all that. But anybody sitting in that row right there, Laura was the one that should have understood it. And I talked to her out there. I said, Laura, did you understand this? And she said, no. So that tells you just exactly how much was understood on that.
well, a
Well,
lot of,
somebody's done research, because we only lost by 5 votes.
This is true.
I think it was more than 5.
It's what?
I think it was more about having 5 people up here rather than 3.
Mhm.
I don't think it had so much to do with the form of government.
No, I don't either.
I think it had to
I
do with
agree.
the
Yeah,
5.
that's right.
And I also think the ballot question, if it would have said that in there, changing the government to a mayor council of 5 and explaining that would have been more clarification.
It should have been explained in layman's terms where the people here in McCracken can understand it. that stuff, he was putting on a lot of rules that Kansas put out. They have no clue what the hell that meant. Absolutely none.
And some of that
Some of the
is,
stuff he said wasn't even true.
well, and, you know, to be honest, it really is, I didn't understand all the state stuff and the state regulations and that stuff
Yes.
until I've done this. So, in all fairness, that is true, unless you're digging into
No,
that
I
stuff,
agree.
you don't really get it.
No.
And even now that I've dug in, I still don't always get it, but, I mean,
I don't think anybody's ever gonna understand everything
Well,
about the
government's
state of
just
Kansas,
plain
the
hard.
government that we have.
yeah,
You can't.
government is hard.
Us Democrats, we're in control. I'm even a Republican and a voter Democrat. My wife's a Democrat.
Well, and I do think it was more the count. I think there was more concerned about, they would probably be much more in compliance, but put the charter ordinance out and we'll find out.
Yeah,
Because the bottom line is, if a petition comes forth and it overthrows it, then we stay free and be happy little campers and keep on
there's
working.
another one on down the line, back, and I can't remember who she told me that was, but changed that from 4 to 3. And that happened here a few years back, when they changed that. And, Chris Brooks can tell you on that.
I think it was in 2017 when Chris Alt changed it from 4 to 3.
Yeah, I think that's.
It could be, I don't know.
But
didn't-
I just was trying to get a discussion, a consensus of what kind of
But we don't.
thoughts were on those, but
You need two.
Well,
I
that's-
think you can get two.
and that's the
What do you
thing,
think?
who are we, I mean, how exactly, we gotta figure out how we do it, because after it passes, you'd have to then appoint 2 people to fill those terms, and you have to set those terms.
Yeah,
So, I mean, there would be a little bit of legality work, and Chris would have to do some work. I mean, it's not gonna not cost us any money, you know, for that, but, I mean, it would be a lot easier than restructuring our government, you know.
Exactly.
Unless it's-
Way,
well, that's what I'm thinking.
So,
it's way cheaper to go this, and not that I'm looking just for cheap, but it is
Yeah.
way more cost effective.
now, that brings me
Well,
to another question, and this might hit people hard, it might not. But we gotta remember, we're not in the 1887 or 1980 or 1970s. If
Yeah.
you're gonna retain people, they have to have some sort of an incentive. My proposal would be what all the other cities do, where your mayor, your commissioners, they all receive $45 a meeting. Every meeting they attend, that is, except for special meetings are lower, but they receive that compensation. Because to tell somebody that you're gonna have them work for $45 for the whole year on a volunteer basis, I understand we have more of a pool of people to pull from.
Well, what we need to do on that, you need to sit down and put figures. Because that will come out of, you have to figure that in to see.
Well, that's what I'm saying with this re-budgeting for '23. I don't know exactly, I'd have to ask Chris where that would fall into in the line.
That'd be
item.
200.
It'd be under, it would be under your
$2,400
legal.
I think it's 27, right?
I think it was,
I was
I
thinking-
think it's under, gonna be under
One.
your
It's
subcontract labor.
$540 per person. So I'm just figuring, if you figured 5 people, if we did 5, that's $2,700.
What do you think? $40 per person?
45.
45.
Well, you could set it at 40, it wouldn't matter. I'm just saying, Dottie Shipman makes $35 to walk over and wave her thing with no training and tell you you're dead.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
They get $60 for every shift they pull too, whether they work or not.
okay. I'm just saying, if there was an incentive, you might have more people interested. Because even to raise it to $100 a month would be,
I don't know that it's all that, I just think it's all the drama part of it and whatnot of it.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but
I
with our
don't,
city, and I'm
It's
just gonna
the weight
say,
of the world on your shoulders.
that too probably.
I think that's
Well,
99% of it.
But think about it, would the weight of the world be eased more if you knew you were receiving more compensation at the end of the world?
For me personally, no, I could care less.
I understand.
But that doesn't mean that some person might not look at it that way.
for $40 a month.
For me to walk across instead of drive. I don't have no mileage.
Yes, but you
But
do
no.
way more than that though.
No. Well, and
You're making
I
phone
mean-
calls, you're doing stuff behind the scenes.
Well,
You're
you're
Being
trying
a
doing stuff all the
commissioner
time.
in this town, if you got $1,000 a month, would be underpaid.
Well, I don't think we're gonna get 1,000, but
no, but really, but I'm not, I mean, it certainly is worth a shot. I mean, I'm not saying it
I
isn't.
mean, I'd like to know,
45,
I thought it was 90 and I don't know when they lowered it.
No, it's always been.
It's always been 45, so it's never been raised at all.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. Because it's been 45 as long as I've known it. Personally, I mean, not that I was in the budgeting of everything, but
we went over to Twyla's, was gonna play cards one night. And she jumped in, she said, I hear you guys got a raise. I said, really? I said, I haven't heard about it. He said, now you're gonna get $125 an hour to be on that commission? I said, we are. He said, well, that's what it says in the paper. I said, God damn, I hope that's true.
but no, I'm not opposed to
I
it.
said, you better go back and read that paper again.
But do.
I mean, that was just me figuring, if you were proposing 5. Now, if you were proposing, and that's just at 12 meetings, right? So that's my figure at 12 meetings. If you were proposing not 5, where did I do that? 9, 45 times.
It's 540 a month,
Yeah,
or a
that's,
year per person.
Yeah,
So that's 27.
but that's times 3 people, so it's 1620. Right now,
Yeah,
it would be 16.
right now, yeah. But if you did 5,
If you were
if
able-
that was the right.
What does it pay now?
That's the way
Don't
you
pay
put it
that?
in
45 a year.
45 a year?
a year, yeah.
Whatever it is, it's sickening, I tell you that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is just, there's no incentive to be up here. Even Liebenthal, a smaller town, pays more than that. Nicole's
I guarantee you
listserv,
that.
when she told the people on the listserv what we were making for our volunteer times, they were like, how do you,
Yeah, we have to justify.
Justify.
And what you make, and we don't make, I mean, we're not bringing in to pay either.
In fact, I'm glad I don't have to pay income tax.
you don't have to pay income tax?
I paid plenty for it, both of them.
I've paid one hell of a lot in my lifetime, I can tell you that. But now it takes, I have to go almost, well, between Angela and we can go almost up to 60,000 and not pay any income tax. So that helps.
Mhm. It makes a difference.
And then we would.
What's it gonna
sort of-
take?
Maybe you ought to put that on Facebook, take a poll.
Oh, God, no, don't do that.
Take a poll. If you made, we'll put $25. We'll just put $25 a meeting. Would you be interested in being a commissioner? Just see what it, say we're just taking a poll. Would you do that?
Tell us why. Is it money? Is it?
Because the thing of it is, if nobody really answered that call, or nobody really gave much of a yes, no, whatever, you're gonna know it's not the money.
No, you're gonna go out and like, no, I don't wanna deal with the bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, and I've been told, if you, why would I wanna make $45 a year to deal with that headache? You
Yeah,
know?
you know, that's a lot of money for,
I mean,
I mean, it's
Put up a lot
nothing
of work
for the
and
crap
everything
that you have
for
to
it,
put up
but-
with here.
Well, no, because in Garden City, the mayor makes $5,000 a year.
Well, look what they get paid for in Wichita.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
I would
but-
want to be the mayor in Wichita.
I wouldn't want to be a mayor, but a councilman, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be either one of them, to be honest with you. I watched them in Topeka. I don't want to sit till 2 o'clock in the morning at their meetings.
the meeting's at 6:30, right? The sign out on the street's at 6.
I don't have anything over the side.
Who controls that?
Cause we just parked up there last night to watch it,
Casey.
and it
Oh.
says 6.
Yeah, that brings that question to my attention. If the Christmas lights, so with this deal with the Christmas lights, Chris Gunn said since we pay the Christmas light, the bill for the Christmas lights, and we pay the
Utilities.
electricity and the utilities, that if the Christmas lights were to cost, a raise or high or whatever, which we would have the right to turn them off. Okay, well, we're not going to do that, obviously, because they've always paid the Christmas lights, right? So my justification, I'm not saying we aren't gonna do it, but obviously I would think that we would not do it. So how does that work with that sign? Is that the same token? Because we have no control over the sign, we have nothing to do with the sign, but yet we're paying the bill for the sign.
Well, first we
And
need
it's giving
to,
people false information,
yeah,
constantly.
I don't know what that sign is costing.
So what bill's it on? Is it on the park?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's costing,
It'd probably be a base figure, isn't it? on
That's the only thing running down there.
Yeah, it's the only thing.
there's a
Except-
shed, the shed we pay for down there?
Well,
I have it right here.
if it was on, if it was run, yes, it's on, the electricity's onto it, but the only time that we use that electricity
That's
is
another
at
thing we
Christmas.
need to
We're paying
decide
$28.84,
when the lights come on, when they go off.
right?
And the shed.
I don't- I
So
don't know
28.84 and
the time we had last year.
29.55.
Well,
So,
I had
so
it
the
The
at,
shed's the 29, that's
6
where
to
the power
11.
comes, or
The
the,
water shed?
at
no,
night.
that's
why
the
we
shed
put-
Oh,
down there,
okay.
or
Yeah,
the, whatever you call
yeah.
it.
You know, it would be
I don't know.
consistent.
So
Oh, we
basically, I think if it's
6 to
the park, is that
Maybe
not
10 or
the,
so.
Yeah,
They cut it,
the
cut it down just a
28.84
That's
little.
what I said, yeah,
And
28.
but I really don't think that they.
I mean, it's costing us $30 a month for false information, basically.
Well, we don't need more than 2 times.
well, that's what I'm on there,
Huh?
you have to
That's
sit
what I
there
had
for
to
like
I
10
know.
minutes to watch it all.
Yeah, it doesn't go quick enough.
Because there's one on the gazebo,
So
Oh, what?
the gazebo.
we think that it's $28.84 a month we're paying for the sign.
Gazebo.
Or something. What?
We think that it's $28.84 a month that we're paying for the sign.
How much?
$28.84.
$30 a month. roughly.
And how long have we had it?
Oh, gosh, they've had
Since
it
2017, 16,
probably.
15?
Well,
It came
everybody
after
likes
we
the
got
idea of
here.
the sign, except you can't read it.
It was whenever they changed over from
That was
beautification to,
2016.
so yeah,
So,
that was when.
Yeah, because we moved
so-
here
Because
in
Debbie,
14. I was gonna say
Debbie
it had to be
Shipman was
after
the
we were
one that
22.
was in charge
Yeah.
when they bought that, yeah. I do know that.
Yeah, because the shed and the park is on there different, so the park would be the sign, because there's nothing, no power ran,
Yeah,
but
other
to the
than
shed,
Christmas,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That thing's been on for, what, 2 years?
Oh, it's been on longer.
Longer than that?
Well, it sat there for a while, nobody did anything because they said something was.
Just when
Well,
Chris
figure for 3 years,
quit doing it, and just
$30
between
a
Chris Alt
month.
and Ron taking.
So we paid about $2,076.48 for the sign for the last 6 years.
Probably right.
Mhm.
And quite personally, it'd be more justifiable to pay our commissioners that than that sign that's not producing anything.
Well, the sad part of it is that sign is setting in a way that nobody can see it.
It was sitting there,
You
and there's
read-
so much information, or so much stuff on it. Me and Chris sat there last night and seriously sat there for, I bet you, at least a good 7 minutes, and it was still different stuff going on.
We
It didn't even start over.
Well,
No,
How do you
no,
make
it just went on to something else. I was like,
Yeah.
well, and then you throw that Happy Father's Day, Happy Birthday, Merry Christmas, whatever in there on top of that when you're trying to look at the next
well,
slide, and then that other one
I'm
comes in.
thinking a lot of it's on the website. The golf course stuff's on the website. Unless there's a tournament, then put the tournament up there.
Right, that's what it's for.
But it's, I mean, we got all the golf, we got how much the green fees are on it, we got this, and I'm like, gee, Christmas. And then you
Yeah.
go on, and the next thing, and it's this, and
See,
there's
I
a
got-
whole thing about it, and I'm like,
I'll be honest with you, I don't.
that's the
even-
first
I
time
don't
I've
even
ever
look
sat
at
there.
it.
I know, I don't either. That's the first time, because we were driving
Because
around.
first of all, it needs to be facing the highway as you're driving in.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not facing the right way, and used to, the only person that could read it was who was in the elevator there, and well, now they're not over there because they've moved that over.
Well, that's where I
So-
park. That's why I park now to read it.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna sit there and park to read a sign that I already know what I can read in the paper.
I mean, my
It was
just
exact, I mean, it was
Or on
silly.
or on my phone.
Yeah. It was literally the golf course, and
Well,
it was
have we-
like this, and then
Yeah, I just went and went and went and went and went, and I was like,
See, I haven't looked at it, so
So
I
have
don't-
we looked at possibly moving the sign?
Oh, my
Well,
God.
to me, where it should be setting is either it should be setting so they read it, or we should set it right out here on the corner of this building so that it's setting where all three lanes can see it and it's in the community.
yeah.
Well, the highway is
The
not-
highway, you're flying by it,
Yep.
and unless you're going to go up there and sit and park and look at it, that's the only time anybody looks at it.
Because I really looked at.
The Lions
putting
High
one-
School one is closer, you know, they have one that's closer kind of
You
out
gotta
there.
go
but-
park.
Yeah, you got to park
But
to
it
read
doesn't
it.
take forever and it's a huge
The lady
sign.
made me
It's like,
park there.
it's lower.
Oh, we
It's
watched
the
that
cross, I
damn
like their
sign for
sign, that's
10
right there in the
minutes.
park.
Yeah.
The one they
I
was.
never did get the information she
I remember when it
wanted.
used to be the tiles. but
No,
now-
that's why I
Okay.
said we need to build a platform and set it right there in the corner, kind of, so you see it in three angles, and at least it'd be more useful than. where
Well,
it's
what
at.
is, I mean,
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm just asking, I guess, is it justifiable for us to put our own sign up and not pay $38 for electricity to go to that sign? Because what would be the minimum we would pay? Maybe $20? Like how much or what do we spend on just the minimum for electricity? What's just the meter? They'll just charge us just the meter, right?
Yeah, I think on city, they just plain charge the meter price, don't they? Meter reading,
so,
because I don't think we're on a base with them. like
Because this
a
went
house
up,
would be.
so
Oh, yes, you are.
the one I was
The
reading
city
went from like
stuff,
28
I'm
and
saying,
29.
I don't think
I
they're
don't care,
on
you're
a
on base. You're on a base rate before it ever starts charging. Everybody is. All your businesses has a base rate. Lane Scott has a base rate, your gas company has a base rate, everybody does.
Well, if that'd be the case, it wouldn't matter if we unplugged
Well,
it.
okay,
Yeah, because like this
the
one
reason we
says,
don't notice it because, you know, you're paying $100 and some for electricity, or $80 or $90, and they don't tell you what it is.
I guess one of the things,
because it went from, so the swimming pool, I would imagine they've got no service, right? They're not using anything currently?
we still pay for it.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they're not, okay, so they're not using anything, but there's a 73, my guess is that's because it's
How
commercial.
much is it?
But that shed at the city park, that's the one that's 29, and then the city park one's 28. So there's still a difference in there. It's not really just a base, you're gonna pay a flat fee, is what I'm saying. So you can see there's a raise.
Why is there two buildings?
Amanda said that they're split.
well, they do split them all.
Everything's split.
Everything.
Everything's
Because
split.
they are separate meters, that's why they have to split them, because each
The
one of
sign's
these
got
are
a meter, and then
Yeah.
that shed's got a meter.
I understand that.
So does the actual,
Why are they even charging us when
It's not
the
ours.
gazebo hasn't even used any electricity for how many months?
Well, yeah, it doesn't use anything.
And you're still paying $28, so that's your base rate.
Well, actually, that's hooked into the sign. The sign's hooked into that
So-
meter.
okay,
It's not a separate meter.
Oh, there's a shed?
But that's the watershed.
No.
so that was my
There's
question.
the watershed is on the other one.
Well, it doesn't, it just says water well, old water tower McCracken. Is that the McCracken water tower?
Yeah,
So
so the water.
this is the
well,
watershed.
well. Yeah, cause this one, I'll have to look it up, cause on there it says,
I just figured this was the watershed.
Well, that's kind of
this is at the park.
see, I figured that was the maintenance shed. But the 212 Main
I
Street
don't
would be
know,
the maintenance
because-
shed.
I don't have my,
Why do we have then 2955 on the shed and then 2884 on, it says City Park? I mean,
It may be-
if the shed is in there, then where's the other water? I'm gonna have to go down and
It
look.
may be due to the difference of
Cause
the,
I don't know
What-
where
what
there's
they're
another
delivering to.
meter. The only
You got a
meter I know is
residential
on the
business,
side of the shed.
recreation, I don't know how many different clauses they got in there, but they all come out with a different rate, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go check and see where the other meter's at.
I have to look, cause
I've got a,
my breakdown.
I mean, you get charged, you know, if you got a meter there, you're gonna get charged, don't make
Well,
any
yeah,
difference whether
okay,
you use it or not.
so-
exactly.
The last thing I've got is we talked about
Even when you shut it off, you
was looking into the cloud so that any documents that we have can go online, like into the online for the cloud. So like if Nicole needs something, she can go into the S drive and pull it out. If Amanda needs something, she can pull it out of the S drive. So we would need to look into a cloud more. So I asked Nicole today, I said, is that something that software provides? Because she said there's something with the cloud in it, but I don't know if it's specific to that software or if it's actually a service we would get, like Chris had said something about like little black box or something like that, that actually makes it electronic
I
transmission.
guess just have her check into it, see what we got. Have to know.
Because
what
I
it-
know that we looked at it the last time when Chris talked to us about it, depending on the price level you go, it goes up to, I think, from like $10 to $15 or something like that.
Yeah,
But if you're storing all your documents on it and you can access them anywhere you need,
Yeah.
that's good because we need to make sure we have everything.
well, it's just like my phone's hooked up to my computer, so I mean, I. can
Well, and like
put in
Nicole
We
anything.
can get
has-
all of our Word documents, because we can get that right off the line, so I don't know.
Well, Nicole has that on the Microsoft Word. But like Chris said, that's not secure. Like when you pay your service, you're paying for security. And if something happens and it's a security breach, you're covered. Microsoft Word, your stuff gets out there, those checking accounts, those banking information, that gets out there, you're responsible for it.
Well, yeah, that's why you put something on your computer to.
Well, I know, but I'm saying there's still data breaches.
That's the whole point.
Mine's
You
not-
put security on your computer
Mine's
so
not
they
hooked
can't
up
get
to
to
the
it.
internet.
But I
But
don't know exactly.
I don't know what it takes to get to the cloud, but really, it's a good advantage to have it.
Well, yeah, then there's no paper documents laying around with anybody's numbers or any names or anything on them that are there. So
Well, nobody would be
You're gonna
that
have
interested in
paper,
a
obviously.
little
Yeah,
town
you're
like
gonna have to
this,
keep paper.
but it's still good to have
You've
when
got to
you
have
use the
both.
cloud.
All
It
right.
Something
doesn't
like a
cost
shared
that much.
drive,
well, that's what I mean. Yeah, shared drive cloud. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is what we have like at the hospital,
yeah.
and that way,
You got the
Yeah.
cloud?
we
Do
just
you
have,
use-
we have a shared drive,
Jane?
At the hospital.
Yeah. It just depends on the
because I
network.
can access off of, you know, their Word and whatnot, or whatever theirs off of the shared drive.
Right.
I know Kathy with Winston, she went to a club, and they come out, and they were with her about a week, and showed her how to operate all that stuff.
Mhm.
So now she does it for all of Georgia's. And we're G5 and Winston, and Ryan, and Ryan's family, I don't know how
Yeah.
many of them, but there's a bunch of them, and she handles all that in the cloud. Works out, and she said it really works good. Because she can go back and retrieve any information that they want.
And then, guess the last thing I have is the incident that occurred at the last meeting concerning Nicole. If it would be okay, I would go ahead and discuss that privately with that individual, if that's okay. That's what I've been advised to do. So,
What's that on?
the incident with Nicole. I'll meet with you on that so we can.
Incident with
Is that
Nicole,
taken-
what happened? Is that a private deal? Is this private?
Well, if you want to speak about it now, you can. I mean, or if we want to do it in public. I think we could talk about it in public during.
If it's private, you don't want it to.
Well, no, it's not private. I mean, it was public, so it occurred publicly. You just have to. I'll let you know what. Since we're in a public meeting, I can share it. Where's that? We just have to make sure we are handling things correctly here. Oop, not that one. I'll let you read that.
Oh.
And it's attorney-client privilege. Oops.
Oh, battery, I need to apologize to her for that, or what do I? That upset me pretty bad. When Jackie Kennedy's name was on that paper, they were bouncing me there at the co-op about that.
Well, I understand that. It wasn't her fault because she has to put it on there by law. So she wasn't doing anything wrong. We just have to watch how we speak to people and how we.
I understand
things
that,
and-
but that upset me a great deal. I don't like that. Jackie Kennedy has nothing to do with this commission.
Well, but technically she has the right to request a notice, and her name has to be at the bottom of those notices. So that's the only thing, because she requested. She's the only one that's requested to be on there.
Yeah, if we
So-
had 15 people request it, there'd be
Yeah,
15
there'd be
names
15
on it.
names. So, and then we could put your name wherever, but
Well, I will apologize to her for that, I guarantee you.
because I know that it
I
upset
did not
her.
mean anything except it just upset me so bad to see Jacqueline Kennedy's name on there and they're jumping me about that crap.
Well, and I understand that they shouldn't treat anybody that way, and I'm sorry that occurred, but when handling with Nicole, she thought you were more upset with her than you were at the situation, because she didn't know what the heck you were talking about. I had to explain to her what actually occurred. I said, oh, he's just upset about the notice, and she said, oh, that's law, I didn't know that. But it upset her because just what you said about, ripping her head off and.
I didn't say that.
Shouldn't
I
do
ought to
that.
rip your heart out for that.
Oh, okay. So that's
No,
what,
neither
so,
one's
but
good.
either way, she just got a little upset and she was upset about the situation. So when she was on the phone with Chris, that comment came up and he asked her, what it was about, and she told him, and that was just what we got. So I'm just making
I
sure
didn't,
that
I went like this, I said, I want to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I didn't grab her in anger or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
I'm not. I mean, Arlene Gilbert was here and saw it all, and I was informed by Jackson yesterday that it was Joe Tipman, and I had to inform him that Gage was not right. It was not Joe Tipman.
No.
So therefore, it was, Pat, and he goes, well, I could be confused. I'm not real sure, but, so it's not just staying between us, it's public. And so we just got to watch how things are with public.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I
And
agree
I
to
will
her
apologize
apology.
to her for it, and she has the right to say that, But it just upset me so bad that these guys are jumping me because her name's on that sheet.
Well, and I understand they're jumping me because I'm in McCracken and I took the mayor, just like we're all on the council. I mean, I get razzed about everything. I just have to watch how take your anger out, and get upset. But I just want to talk to you about it, and that was it. So if there's no other further things, then I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, same sign, motion carried. I don't know what that means.